Okay, so welcome to the class, and today we will talk about is some questions of banking, and then we will take into the new chapter. But let's first talk about banking, and so have some questions, and let us ask some questions to you. Okay, so the first one is, when was the Banking Regulation Act started? So what is your answer for this? Yes, the answer is 1949. Okay. So now we have to tell you something else also. When was RBI established? Okay. So the RBI answer is 1934. Okay. So this is very, very important, and you need to know this also. Okay, so now let us talk about that how many public sector banks are there in 2017. So in 2017 there are 26 PSB, okay, and then there are 19 nationalized banks, okay. So as I said, now which was a bank which got merged? Okay, because previously there were 27 banks in 2017. How come it became 26? So let me just clear this. Okay. So the fourth question is, okay, so which was the bank which got merged with the, and which was the 27 bank, but it got merged with another PSB bank? So yes, let me write down. The name of the bank is Bhartiya Mahila Bank. Okay. So now it got merged, and that also because it merged with SBI, and that is why again it got reduced to 26 banks. Okay. Yes. Now the next question, when was regional rural bank started? Okay. So 1970s the regional rural bank started. Okay. Yes. Now the next question we will ask is, who headed the regional rural banking? Okay. So it was headed by M. Narasimham. Okay. And he was the one who recommended it. Okay. Yes, the next question. So why did the RBs or RRBs fail? Okay. So why did the RRB fails? Okay. So yes, the question is why the RRB. So they made a lot of losses because there were unrestricted branch expansion, and there was no branch expansion happening, and there was informal money lending was not happening. Still the old private money lenders were depending on it. There was lack of professional management, so there was no professional management, and yes, they were also having a lot of losses. So there was an NPA, high non-performing assets. Okay. Now which was the RRB amendment bill? Which year? So yes, the RRB amendment bill started in the year 2014. Okay. And who introduced this bill? Yes, this this introduction was done by the Minister of Finance, by Mr. Arun Jaitley in December 2014, specifically 18th of December. Okay. And what was the changes? Which bill was changed? The RRB Banks Act 1976 was changed. Okay. So this is very, very important. Okay. Now let me rub this. Okay. So this is what is this. Now let us talk some questions on non-scheduled banking. So let us talk about it. Okay. So what are non-scheduled banks? What is the question? What are non-scheduled banks? Okay. So the question and the answer is the non-scheduled banks are those which are not listed in the second schedule of the RBI Act 1934. Okay, and another point is also there, less than reserve of 5 lakh rupees. So they are the ones who qualify for non-scheduled banks. Okay, so and what is an, can you give an example of non-scheduled bank? So let us give an example here. Jammu and Kashmir Bank. So this is the example of non-scheduled bank. Okay, so my question was, what are non-scheduled banks? So non-scheduled banks are those which are not listed in the second schedule of the RBI Act 1934 and less than reserve of 5 lakh rupees, example Jammu and Kashmir. So that is very, very important. Okay, now let's talk about cooperative banks. So what are cooperative banks? So what are cooperative banks? Okay, so cooperative banks, both they operate in the urban and the rural areas, and they come under, this is very important, you need to write, Cooperative Societies Act 1912. So this is very, very important. So that is what is now. Now we will talk about some more institutions, and that will be, and so that we can start a new chapter. Some more questions, very important questions also I will ask you. So let me just rub this. Okay. Okay. So the first question is, what was the need of DFIs? Okay. So what was the need of DFIs? So the answer, what will be your answer to this? So the answer is that, to provide long-term and medium-term loan to the industry, to promote the industries, yes, to talk about the industry, to talk about, so that, the industries are given lot of loans, and they are also promoted to give small industries and big industries, and especially this was done to focus on the industrial sectors. Okay. Now, how do we classify the DFIs? Okay, so the answer to the second question is, so which are all India DFIs? The first is, it is divided into all India DFIs. Okay, then special DFIs. Okay, then refinance institutions. Okay, and the fourth is state level DFIs. Okay, so this is very important. So now coming under all India DFIs, that is IFCI, IDBI, SIDBI, then ICICI, and they all cease to be a DFI, but okay. And now the next question, and again is special DFIs, is Exim Bank, okay, and IFCI. Okay, then there is Tourism Finance Corporation and IDFC. Okay, investment institutions. So there is also talking about, the next one is also, it is divided under investment institutions. So this is first, then second, then third, then fourth, and then fifth. So investment institutions DFIs are LIC. Okay, so Unit Trust of India also, so UTI. Okay, and then Tourism Corporation or Tourism Finance Corporation also comes under the investment, and then general insurance, yes, so general insurance also comes. Okay, Coming to the next one, refinance. So refinance institution is National Finance National Housing Board, that is NABARD. So that comes under refinance. And the last one is state level. So state level is SFC, so State Financial Corporation, then State Industrial, okay, Development, so SIDC, so that comes under the state level DFIs. Okay, now let's come to the next question. Okay, so the next question is which bank, which was how, when was ICICI converted? Okay, so the answer is ICICI was converted into a bank on 30th March 2002, and the next bank was IDBI Bank, which was converted on 11th October 2004. So these two banks got converted. Okay, so this is very, very important, as I told you also. So 2002, this you have to remember also. So these are the questions. Okay, the next question, when was UTI set up? So when was UTI set up? So yes, what is the answer? The UTI was set up on November 1963, and it was passed in the parliament under the UTI Act. Okay, the next question, when was LIC set up? Okay, so LIC, Life Insurance Corporation, was set up in 1956. Okay, next question, so same way, when was GIC set up? It was formed by the central government in 1971. So these are the major important questions. Okay, now very important question is also there, so just let me clearly wrap this. Now, when did the Union Cabinet decide to divide the UTI into two parts, UTI 1 and UTI 2? Which year? So in 2000, so in 2002, the Union Cabinet split UTI into UTI 1 and UTI 2 as a result of the prolonged crisis. Okay, so this is very, very important also, and these are the questions which will ask you also for this. Okay, so you have to remember, and then moreover there will be some questions which are based on nationalization of banks also, but that is not so important. Important is something which are very much, small questions they can ask you. Okay, now let's come to a new chapter. So we will talk about is, now we have done all about the financial institutions, we have done the banking sector, we have spoken about monetary policy, and now we will talk about is agriculture. Okay, so yes, let me take a pen. Yes, so now we will talk about is Indian agriculture. Now, Indian agriculture, if you talk about, it is the main bloodline, and the main bloodline of Indian economic rests under the Indian agriculture. So, Indian agriculture is a very, very, and it is divided into a long chapter like A, B, C. So, we will take everything in detail. We'll study each and every nitty-gritties of Indian agriculture. So, let's start. Okay, so first we will divide it. As I said, we will first talk about is A, the historical background. So we will take from the historical background, and then we will move on to the current status till date. Okay, and so the first thing we will discuss is the land reforms. Yes, land reforms in India, they are very, very important. And the next thing we will discuss is the situation of Indian agriculture. So this is also very important. So the first part we will talk about is the historical background and the current status, which is talking about the land reforms in India and the situation of Indian culture or Indian agriculture.